pretty much the story is just a synopsis of why the Harry Potter books happened, and it just tells you that everything she said was right. But my question is, who is disputing that? I felt like I was doing a book report. So it starts off pretty much where like the last movie stops, and Harry Potter is old now and he has kids with Ginny Weasley. And they're putting their kids on the train, and pretty much Harry Potter is like, all right, you're going off to Hogwarts. And Albus Severus Potter is like, Dad, what if they put me in Slytherin? And he's like, it's okay. If you tell the Sorting Hat what you want, like, he'll do it. And he's on the train with Rose Granger Weasley, who is Hermione and Ron's daughter. And so they get on the train, and Rose is like, Albus, we have to pick our friends for life because this is where all of our parents met. And she's all like methodical. And she's like, all right, we're going here. Let's find out some friends. And so they walk in. He's like, what's up? What's up? And this guy's like, hey, yeah, like we could be friends. And Rose's like, no, next. Like, we're not going to be friends with him. Are you following me or not? And then Albus is like, nah. So then the other boy's like, and my dad's Draco Malfoy. Like, our parents hate each other. And he's like, oh, that's cool, but like, you have some candy and like, we can have some sweets together. Like, that'll be fine. And pretty much he gets put into Slytherin. And everyone's like, Slytherin? Like, a Potter in Slytherin? Really? Are you sure? So Scorpius and Albus are in Slytherin. And everyone thinks that Scorpius is the heir of Voldemort. And even Scorpius is like, I might be, like, I'm not really sure, but we're losers, everyone hates us, blah, blah, blah. And so then Harry and Albus don't have a good relationship, and he's all like, I wish you weren't my son. And Albus is all like, well, good, I wish you weren't my dad, like famous Harry Potter, blah, blah. Harry works for the Ministry of Magic, where Hermione is the Minister of Magic. But who's surprised? Ron and Hermione are married, and Ron just like runs Fred and George's joke shop, and Hermione's like the head bitch in charge. So pretty much Hermione's always like, Harry, you should really do your paperwork. And he's like, I'm out there in the field. I don't do paperwork. And she's like, not to rub it in, but I'm the Minister of Magic, and you should do your work. And he's like, message received. Still not gonna do it. Cedric Diggory, his dad, Amos Diggory, is like old, and he's in an old people home for wizards. He comes to Harry's house and is like, hey Harry, I heard you have a time turner, because like they were doing all these raids to like destroy them because like it's too dangerous to go back in time. And Hermione's all like, oh, TBT, remember when I had a time turner just because I was a nerd and wanted to take more classes, and I punched Draco Malfoy in the face? Yeah, good times. So Amos is there, and he's like, Cedric, they called him the Spare, and he died because of you. Like, everyone dies because of you. And like, Albus is sitting there at the top of the stairs like, oh my dad is such a jerk. So then Amos Diggory's niece, Delphine, or Delphi, I don't really know how to pronounce it, she's like, oh, Albus Potter, we could totally save him. So he's all like, okay, my best friend Scorpius and I are gonna go back in time, and we're gonna like just save it and make it right because like my dad is such a jerk. So they do some stuff and they steal the time turner, and then they're on the train going to Hogwarts for like their third year, maybe their fourth year. Time is like so fast in this book. They're on the train going to Hogwarts, and then they make the trolley witch, you know, anything from the trolley, anything from the trolley. They like make her like a semi-main character in the sense that like they try to sneak out the train, and then she becomes like this thing and has like spinning hand blades and is all like, I've never let anyone off this train. I'm not gonna let you off of it. But they do it, and they leave the old people's home for witches and wizards. These people are so old. The witches and wizards are so old that they don't have to do magic anymore, but they just do it for fun. So they're like having a ball and stuff. And so they talk to Amos Diggory, and they talk to the cousin Delphine, and they're like, we're gonna go save Cedric. Follow me to the kitchen. We're gonna need some more wine. The real time turner. This is how you time travel in our world, the Muggle world. Expelliarmus. It's not pumpkin juice, but it will do.
All right, so they're going back to
Oh yeah, where did I leave off?
the fourth book? I think the fourth book.
Oh,
That's where
Triwizard Tournament.
everything takes place. They're back in time, trying to save
Cedric Diggory,
Cedric Diggory.
played by Edward from Twilight before he got ruined. R.I.P. So they go back to the Triwizard Tournament, and they're all like, they have to save him from touching the port key because that's where he got killed. And the first task is dragons. So they go over there to like fuck with the shit, but like they run into Hermione and they're wearing the robes from Victor Crumb's team, the Bulgarians. Anyway, so they like boom, block his spell so he gets all messed up and like embarrassed. And they come back to the present time because like the catch with the time turner is you can only be back in time for 5 minutes. So like how much damage can you do? A lot. Because like effing with the past is not cool. J.K. Rowling does not appreciate that shit. And like that has so many ripple effects. So then boom, 5 minutes are up, they come back to the present time and they're like, what happened? Did Cedric Diggory live? No. But the ripple effects are that Hermione goes to the Yule Ball with Ron as friends instead of Victor Crumb. And because they go as friends, he ends up dancing with that girl that he actually took. Anyways, and he's like, I like you. So they end up getting married and they have like a kid, and like in the alternate reality, Hermione is all like bitter because like she doesn't have Ron because like they're not in love. And she works at Hogwarts as the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. So because they don't get together, Rose Granger Weasley isn't born, which is a huge problem for Scorpius Malfoy because he kind of like has a crush on her. So Scorpius and Albus Potter are all like, we effed up history, Cedric is like still dead, we have to go back, we have to try again. So they time travel again to the second task. So here they are underwater. Cedric Diggory uses the bobblehead charm to like make a huge bubble around his head so he can breathe. They like, boom, your head is so big, and he comes out of the water, Cedric Diggory, and it's like so embarrassing, he's so ashamed. So they go to the second task and they F with his charm and he gets even more embarrassed, and so he just like storms off. He leaves school and he like becomes the worst Death Eater of all time, just like super evil. And he's in that battle at the end because like Harry still like reaches the port key, and so in the final battle of Hogwarts, Cedric Diggory only kills one person, Neville Longbottom.
What happened? Agrees me.
It's Cho Chang, everyone.
Oh my gosh.
Harry loves Cho. But Cho loves Cedric Diggory, and this is really all his fault. In real time, Neville is a professor, probably like herbology because like he was so good at that. And so because he kills Neville, Neville can't kill Nagini, that scary snake thing. Voldemort essentially wins the battle. Voldemort kills Harry Potter in the second alternate reality. Voldemort just takes over. It's just like bad news. It's literally a living hell. Hogwarts has gone to shit. In this reality, Scorpius is like, where is my best friend Albus? And like realizes the love of his life, Rose Granger Weasley, is dead. Because, you know, first task, they fucked that up. Second, his best friend Albus Potter, dead. Because like he fucked that up and Harry Potter is dead, so Albus was never born. And so he's like, holy shit. I have to talk to Snape. Snape, I know you used to love Harry Potter's mom, and that's how I can prove I'm from the future. So let's figure out what to do about this. And he's like, young Malfoy, I thought you were a baddie, but I realized you're telling the truth. Let's go meet up with Ron and Hermione. Ron and Hermione, still not together, but like both rebels on the run. And so he's like, are you guys finally like dating or like at least married in this one? And they're like, what do you mean? It's like, I'm from the future, you guys are married, you have 2 kids, it's totally cool. And they're like, oh my gosh, no, us? And he's like, yeah, you guys are soulmates. This is janked up. And they tell him, you have to go back to the first task and do a counter curse. You have to go second task, do a counter curse. And then you have to go back to your time. So he does, and he goes back, boom, counter curse. Goes back, boom, counter curse. Meanwhile, the original 3, the gang, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, are all like, where are our sons? And his frenemy Draco was all like, my son doesn't like me either. We're terrible fathers. And he's like, we have to fix this. Oh my god, daddy issues, daddy issues, daddy issues. And meanwhile, Draco's like, I have another time turner. I know I'm not supposed to have it, but like I do, and it's better because like we can stay in time longer than 5 minutes. That one's a piece of shit, mine's solid gold because I'm Draco Malfoy. Draco Malfoy is essentially like, I'm Chuck Bass, but I'm Draco Malfoy! So they finally somehow catch up to them, and they're like, we have to destroy that time turner. And so like, McGonagall is the headmaster mistress McGonagall of Hogwarts, and she's like so appalled at Hermione. She's like, Miss Granger, and Hermione's like, I'm actually married to Ron now, like, and the Minister of Magic. So, how dare you keep that time turner? There's more prophecies about the Spare, aka Cedric, and like when sons like overrule their fathers, and like it's a whole thing right now. Any centaur will tell you. So eventually the big 3 plus Draco catch up to their sons, and they're like, boys, that was dangerous. And they're like, yeah, Dad Draco, and yeah, Dad Harry Potter, like I get it, like that was our fault. We're like, give me that time turner. And so then Scorpius is all like, oh, I dropped it in the lake, like with the mermaids, like I don't have it anymore. We're just gonna go back to school and be in Slytherin and like let it be.
If you were in Harry Potter, who would you be? What character?
Me. Me. Miserable, pathetic, moaning, marital. Meanwhile, Scorpius and Albus like meet, and they're like, hey, still have the time turner, we have to destroy it. So they invited back Delphini, Delphi, whatever, and they're like, hey girl, like we're gonna destroy this. She's like, all right, give it to me, I'll destroy it. And she's like, suckers, just kidding, I'm Delphini, I am not related to Cedric Diggory, I was using you fools, you had a crush on me, that's so cute, but like, yeah, right? I am the spawn of Voldemort and Bellatrix Lestrange. And they're like, what? And like, secretly, Scorpius is all like, whew, I was like kind of scared I was the spawn of Voldemort. Thank God you cleared that up. And she's like, yep, boom, time turn this bitch. I'm going back to Godric's Hollow to the night that we killed Harry Potter's parents. And so they all get transported back in time. And so meanwhile, Harry, Ron, Hermione, and Draco are like, where are the kids? And the kids are all like, oh my god, how are we going to tell our parents we're at the eve of Harry Potter's parents being killed? And it's like a whole conundrum. Albus is like, we have to send a message to the future. How are we going to do that? Oh, I know. My dad has this blankie that like he was wrapped up in, and like I guess Dudley gave it to him. It was like the only nice thing he's ever done. So like in a flashback, Harry is like, Albus, I want you to have this blankie. James has the cloak of invisibility, but you can have my ratty old blanket. He's like, really? This blankie? I can't even turn invisible under this. This sucks. So he goes up and he steals Harry Potter's baby blankie, and he like burns this message in it, and he's like, Dad, help, like I'm here, it's me. So Harry in real time is like, my son's missing, my parents died this day 50 years ago, oh, my childhood blankie. And he's like, what's this? There's holes in it. Oh my god, there's a secret message. And so then he's like, that clever boy, we have to go back. And so they go back to Godric's Hollow with Draco's fancy schmancy golden time turner, and they're like hiding out at Bathilda Bagshaw's house, you know, that evil snake Nangini pretended to be her. They're like, okay, we are gonna get this bitch. And they're like, why hasn't she just killed Harry Potter already? Because if she kills Harry Potter, then Lord Voldemort just rises to power, and the entire book series as we know it doesn't even need to happen. Why are you taking so long? And then they're like, oh, durr, she wants to meet her dad Voldemort. So obviously Delphine is all like, I want to meet my dad Voldemort, I've never met him before. And so they're like, oh, they're waiting for Voldemort to show up. And Harry's like, I got it, I'll do something dangerous, everyone will disagree, I'll say it has to be me because I'm Harry Potter, and everyone will be like, oh, Harry, you're right. So Harry's like, whoop, pretends to be Voldemort. And he goes out and he's like, oh, you're my daughter? And she's like, Dad, it's me. I'm your daughter, Bellatrix Lestrange. She was my mom. And like, now I'm here, and like, I'm here to tell you, like, don't cast this curse on Harry Potter, because like, it's gonna have all these things. There's gonna be like 7 books about it, and it's gonna be a huge deal, but if you just like don't, you can still just rise to power without them. And then Harry, pretending to be Voldemort, is like, come over here so I can capture you. And then like everyone jumps out, is like, boom, and like wraps her up in magic. Albus Severus Potter is all like, let's kill her. And Ron, like, he doesn't really have a lot of like lines or like plot or character in this book. He's like, no, like, we learned in all the other books that we can't kill them because that makes us just as bad as them, so let's just send her to Azkaban. I only know one spell. Duplify!
It didn't work so well.
Duplify!
You don't have to pick all those up.
Yeah, it's okay. Back to the present tense. She's going to Azkaban, and then Albus is all like, oh, Dad, I'm really glad we're finally having a heart-to-heart, and like, I had a crush on that girl, and she was super evil, and I wanted to kill her. So like, am I bad? And Harry's all like, son, I'm sorry that I said I wish you weren't my son, because that's not true. But like, no, you're not bad, like, it's all fine. And Ginny's all like, Harry, like, don't lose our son again. And she's like, son, I opened the Chamber of Secrets and almost killed everybody. It's fine, like, these things happen. The main important thing is, I understand your best friend is the son of my arch enemy, but like, I'll accept you anyway. It's fine that you're letting down the family and you're a Slytherin, even though we should all be Gryffindors. Meanwhile, Scorpius is all like, Dad, I just like did all this stuff, and like, why were you so bad? Like, Harry Potter, he's okay, he's a cool guy. Like, honestly, I was just jealous of him and his friendship with Granger and Weasley, and like, and I just really want him to have good friends, because I didn't. I just had Crabbe and Goyle, and those guys were losers. You're friends with Albus, and like, that's what's important. What's important is friendship. Time travel, and by time travel I mean just for you, the reader, it like loops forward. They're going to Hogwarts again, and they're still in Slytherin, but it's okay because they're best friends. And then Scorpius is all like, hey, you know, all this adventure has really loosened me up a bit. Like, I think I'm gonna go play Quidditch, and I'm totally gonna ask out Rose Granger Weasley. And so he does, and Rose is like, I still don't want to date you. Like, you're weird. Ha ha ha, okay, we're gonna hug because we're bros. And that's pretty much how it ends. That's the moral. The moral of the story is J.K. Rowling, she knew what she's talking about. People need to leave her alone. She's done. B, everything in Harry Potter is true. C, everyone has daddy issues, but that's fine. And D, friendship. Friendship makes the world go round. It's still magic, but as our friend Melinda says, it's a different kind of magic. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Read it. Or don't.